The American Constitutional Republic. Affairs of State in Oklahoma. The beliefs, principles, opinions, and views of people just like me. This is 3D Politics with the Verbal Viking. Tommy McKay here every Monday night with 3D Politics. Always interviewing the culturally pertinent and an American community of political intellectuals. Tonight, virtual street fight, the pilot. Ken, the Red Railer Reddick versus Al, the contrarian Soto. That's right. Ken Reddick from Tulsa Fence and Roofing Company goes up against Albert Soto, owner and operator of the Drip Culinary Coffee Bar out there in Claremore. Tonight, each contestant is going to open up with a statement. We're going to have 3 15-minute rounds. And those rounds are consisting of what is a rhino, that is Republican in name only, and how to pick a Republican candidate. Also, the final category will be what is the future of the Republican Party. But before we get going, I have to tell you a little something about what has been going on. I am day 8 with my Twitter feed strike. As you can see here, KTUL News, they posted all they have. Typically, they have their Pravda, the party line. They do it all the time. They continue to fear monger. So then, as though they were scared, they printed a story about Broken Arrow won't wear masks. And I said to KTUL News, the corporate LLC, or whatever they are, they're not an individual. So now throw yourself off a bridge. Well, all of a sudden, I got immediately attacked by the artificial intelligence that is wholly unaware of human innuendo or comedy. They create an algorithmic shredding of the community fabric, and they suggested that perhaps I was having thoughts of self-harm, even though there's a little clown face down here telling you I'm joking, right? And so there are people that are out there that care and suggesting that Now, why do I bring this up? They told me that if I want to acknowledge that my tweet is bad and it violates Twitter rules, all I have to do is take it away. If I think I've made a mistake, or they've made a mistake, I can submit an appeal. So what did I do? I submitted an appeal. I appealed one tweet, KTUL News, so now throw yourself off a bridge. Knowing that KTUL is not a person, entity that can harm itself or others by throwing itself, KTUL News, off of anything that would make it dangerous. Now, what in the world would I care if I'm off Twitter for and I'm being judged by those people that I can just cancel my appeal if I just want to get back to my account? But look here. Here's a guy named Dylan Goforth who just August 14th of last year says, I would literally kill a person, says Dylan. Any person, just name them, to be able to watch a new movie in a theater again. He is not joking. There's no little smiley face joke next to his threat to the general public. We're talking about murder, he says, folks. The illegal and he is willing. Here is Dylan Goforth on Twitter suggesting he is not joking about murdering your general public of the illegal variety. But who cares? Who is Dylan Goforth anyway? Is he just another schmuck like you, Tom, with a podcast, who has a podcast that's got a podcast? Oh, no. Oh, wow. Dylan Goforth is the executive editor of the Frontier online rag, okay, illuminating journalism, begging for your money every week to illuminate you. Dylan Goforth somehow has media privilege as he gets to threaten people with death and murder, but little old Tom can't even tell KTUL News to throw themselves off the bridge. Enough of that cathartic excitement. It looks like we've got Al, the contrarian Soto, in the waiting room. But without further ado, the moment you've all been waiting for, the main event of the evening. Let's bring in Ken, the Red Railer Reddick. Let's see if we can bring him in here. Ask to unmute. Let him to start his video. Bring him in. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Ken the Red Railer Reddick, fighting out of Tulsa fence and roof. Now, we're going to hear all of a sudden Al, the contender, contrarian Soto. Let's see if he's there. He was there, or there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's exciting. We've got Al, the contrarian Soto, fighting out of the drip in Clare. Could be a lot of excitement tonight. Wow, I know. And so here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have a 15-minute round to start about what is a rhino. You guys got into a tangle on a Facebook spat, is what I call it, and you have helped me push that little molehill into a mountain right here for the pilot of Virtual Street Fight. So we're both going to have some opening comments, and we're going to go in alphabetical order. So Reddick starts before Soto. Reddick, let's start with your opening statement. We're going to move right into what is a rhino.
What is a rhino? Well, obviously it's an acronym for
hold it. We haven't started the round yet. Just give me your opening statement about why you're here, how you got into this fight. What was the issue that brought us here, where I offered you guys this fight card? There was some tangle. We will start the round here in just a moment.
So what started this is basically being told to hold your nose and vote for the candidate. And a lot of us were stating that we were going to refuse to do that if a particular candidate won in the primary.
Okay. And so, Al, contrarian, explain how you got here.
Well, I support the party, the Republican Party, and so when Jackson jumped into the race, the popular thing to do is to go with the upstart, to go with the new guy. From my perspective, I don't know him. He has no track record. He's only voted twice in his life for in any election. And so I'm thinking, no, the guy's a charlatan. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. We've had enough of those things in Oklahoma. So my first response was to vote for the current guy in there. Our current senator, I just forgot his name because I'm on the spot here.
This guy here,
James Lankford, the Langster, Mr. Langton. You don't have to call me Johnson.
That guy. That guy
and as soon as
right
Nathan Dom jumped into the race, well, then he was my first go-to guy because he is much more conservative. He is the kind of guy we need. He has a track record. We don't have to wonder and guess if this guy's going to be conservative.
Okay, so essentially what happened, you guys got into a wonderfully heated debate on polite and yet heated debate on Facebook. And somebody challenged somebody to a debate, and I said, bring it here to the show. And I'm really pleased you did. I appreciate that. My goal here with Virtual Street Fight is to bring to a head, so to speak, these issues, especially if they're inter-party. And I think that's important. Ken, what do you want to add before we start the round here and get into exactly what is a rhino? Anything to add before we get going?
No, I mean, aside from the fact it used to be pretty easy to define what is a rhino, but the farther the left moves towards socialism, the farther a rhino has to fight to stay moderate and in the middle. So it's becoming very blurred. It used to just be someone that would tend to vote along party lines, but now it's become vindictive at times. We've seen that with a couple Romney votes. We've seen that with John McCain's final vote. When we were choosing to abolish the ACA.
Right. Okay, gentlemen, so we are going to try. I don't mind to get off track a little bit, but I don't want to go total scatter for the audience. Let's try to maintain some slalom within what is a rhino first. It will overlap into how to pick a Republican candidate, and then what is the future of the Republican Party. Let's see. Let's go ahead and see if we can start the round here like this. Here it is, the main event of the evening. That's correct. And this evening's action is brought to you by the Arm Bar, a full contact bar and grill, 51st and Peoria. Submit to the Arm Bar. All right, so here we go with what is a rhino. The big question here is it's a Republican in name only. Do we decide they are a rhino based on their actions or based on what they say? Anybody who wants to swing first? Feeling each other out.
Youth before beauty. We'll go with Ken.
Thank you. So the question was, what is a rhino these days? And like I was stating before, they've really moved, the goal line on that issue. So what brought about this conversation was actually we were being called rhinos. I say we, those that were outspoken defenders of Lawmire's track record. And how conservative he necessarily is, especially compared to people such as Dom. So we were being called rhinos because we were refusing to vote for a potential winner of a primary. And I think that's actually what's got us into holding our nose and casting a ballot for rhinos such as Romney, McCaskill, now what's looking like a Lankford, Senator Lankford. That's what's got us in this mess. The fact that those people with their outspoken, very public policies and how often they go against fundamental party lines has not only encouraged them to run openly as a rhino, but it's actually, they see a track record of success with it. They can appease, they can appeal. They look good on, camera for a couple days. They're everyone's favorite in the liberal media for a week or two based on just one single issue. So the fact that we were being called rhinos for refusing to hold our nose, I think is really just playing along, the divisive politics that they would like to see inside of our party.
What do you say, Al Contrarian Soto?
So I was in Facebook jail for 30 days, and I could only sit back and watch Ken slam Nathan day after day on his own Facebook page as well as his own personal page, and it was just eating me up. And so as soon as I was released, I was like, boom, let's give Ken some of his own medicine. Now, I can be a sarcastic ass. No. So can Ken, and so I thought it would be fun to give him some of his own medicine.
Right.
And, I like Ken. I have no problems with him. What I have a problem with, though, is the party has now dumbed down rhino to mean anyone who doesn't agree with me. And that's what I saw on his thread, is people saying that, of all people, Nathan Dom was a rhino. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. If anybody is I don't know of anybody more conservative than Nathan Dom. I don't know him personally, but I do know his track record. Red flag laws, he passed, legislation against that. Constitutional carry, the dude has been a superhero for the Second Amendment. So I could go on and on and on. The guy has a proven conservative track record. And when I see people within my own party hitting him and calling him a rhino, there's something wrong.
All right, you're listening to the fine analysis of Al, the Contrarian Soto, talking about what is a rhino. And I have to agree, Nathan Dom doesn't strike me as a rhino. Ken Reddick, the Red Railer, is it true? You accused Nathan Dom of being a rhino.
No, I think that thread did get a little out of hand. It got a little off point. My not to get off point for the debate, but my issue that I was taking up with Nathan Dom was the real reason he decided to run, and just I was piecing together for people my inside information with my personal opinion. So I was giving them a true, honest, inside information, fact pieced with what my opinion of the putting two and two together was for Dom's announcement of his campaign to run for U.S. Senate. I've been, around Dom plenty. We've done, little get-togethers, and we've helped raise money for Safari Mission. We've done little events out at Thrive out in Jinx with Clay Clark and his crew. But I wouldn't disagree. He's probably one of the most proven conservative candidates in Oklahoma, currently serving. So That being said, I think he is playing politics with his late announcement, with how he is redefining himself. So how he started being called a rhino, a Republican name and name only, was now the man is going from how I know him personally to be a never Trumper to the man in a video was talking about how he supported Trump from the day he came down the escalator. And I know that not to be true, because I met Dom at Paul rallies, and I know Dom was a huge backer of Cruz. And I remember when Cruz won the primary, when he was running against Trump here in Oklahoma, Dom was super excited about that. And, rightfully so. A lot of people it was a 50-50 split at that point in time. People were excited in the conservative party and, about backing Cruz and his potential candidacy. But, we got Trump, and I understand a lot of never Trumpers from the primary decided to jump on and support, but don't put a Trump 45, tag on the back of your truck.
All right, break it. Hold on here. Okay, so look, what I see so far is that there's no claim by the contrarian that he knows Nathan Dom, but he trusts him according to the track record that he can see publicly. According to the Red Railer, Ken Reddick, he seems to have known Dom personally in the past and has seen him fall away from what he said in the past. So there's been a change for Reddick in his views of Dom. The Soto has stayed consistent, but each of you for different reasons. Both of us, all three of us agree that Dom is no rhino. Now, let's get to the real issue. I think the best analogy I had when we talk about the actions of a rhino, is the job of a rhino to only support the Republican candidate or only support the Republican candidate that acts like a constitutional conservative? Because this happens to be my best analogy is the baseball analogy. We're all on the same team, pop fly to center field for about a half a year or more. Lawmeyer says, I got it. And then all of a sudden, Nathan Dom, even though he's not a rhino, no, I got it. Boom. And it's like, wow, man, you didn't shoot yourself in the foot, Dom. You shot Lawmeyer in the foot. What do you say, Soto?
That's the whole point about the primary. The primary is to weed out the weak, and hopefully the most conservative rises to the top. The good stuff rises to the top. So that's why as I said before, rhino has become this term that we use against anybody who doesn't agree with me. Even Lankford, I still would support Lankford if he wins the primary. I view him as a conservative. And that's also where some of this bickering started. Even before Nathan stepped in, I was supporting Lankford because I met Jackson at a restaurant. We talked for an hour. And I asked him, what makes Lankford a rhino? He couldn't make the case. The best he could throw out was Columbus Day. So here's the thing. If you're part of the Republican Party, you have to, if you're going to be a Republican in our party, you have to support the nominee. You may not like him. You may disagree with him on some percentage of his votes. But at the end of the day, the party has spoken. We need to coalesce around the nominee, support him, and win the election. The thing is, in Oklahoma, we really, we've got this in the bag. So we have the luxury to bitch and moan and complain about, this or that. We nitpick our nominee to death, and we risk, our nominee losing if we aren't careful. And I asked Jackson directly, would you vote for the nominee of the party? And he said no.
Okay,
That's
that was okay. When you won't vote for the guy who won the nomination of your party because you disagree with him on other issues, Reddick, what did you have to say?
If we use your definition, Soto, of what is a rhino and how we're moving, how you're a rhino if you don't support the candidate of your party. Was Lankford a supporter of Trump on January 6th, or was he the one actually moving the process forward and helping the Democrats along and helping Pence appease the crowd? Because he wasn't supporting
that
the nominee.
Lankford could have overturned the election from Washington, D.C.?
No, but he was a proponent of, when they went back in session, he was the first man that stood up, of all places, a Republican from the reddest state, stood up and said, let's just move along with this process. Let's just, this has become too violent. Let's just move along and we'll do anything. He basically said, we'll do anything you want to do. And he looked across the aisle and said, let's just get this along. Let's get this over with. He was no longer, he removed his appeal. He removed his challenge to the certification of Arizona, and then they went along with the process.
That is the flip flop. That is literally the flip flop that makes Lankford a rhino. You see, to a lot of people. Soto, what do you say?
Again, Republican in name only. We've got party. We've then got values, conservatism, limited government. You've got to separate the two. The Republican Party is a private party. If you're going to say you're a Republican and you're registered Republican, you got to abide by the rules. If you're going to run in the primary and you're going to tell the people, vote for me, and if I lose, I'm going to go home like a little boy and cry and not support the nominee, why are you in my party if you're not going to accept the loss, accept the voice of the people within our party? It's disrespectful to us.
In a vacuum, that idea works, but the problem is our party keeps getting hijacked by men such as Mayor Bynum, or like in Utah they've been hijacked by Romney, or for decades, or for years they got hijacked by McCain in Arizona. But my point is, it too often we hold our nose, and it encourages candidates such as Romney's and McCaskill's to run openly. It encourages men such as Mayor G.T. Bynum, a registered Republican and from a lineage of Republican politicians. It encourages candidates such as him, or politicians like him, to openly stand with Governor Bloomberg and push socialist agendas. So openly and so highly encouraging them, not only encourage them, implement them on a municipal level. So that's my problem. Is there currently we're talking about creating another party. I don't want to do that. As a contractor, we have a saying that says it's always easier to build it once. So it would be way harder. It would be way more expensive for us to break with the party that we created, the conservatives created, and it would be much harder for us to break with this party than it would be just to refuse to vote for rhino candidates for a cycle, flush them out, let them lose, and take our party back.
Yeah, but the only way you're going to flush them out is by convincing the people. You do the heavy lifting. You do the work during the primary. It's incumbent on you and your side to convince the rest of us that your guy's the better guy. But if you lose, then it's your fault. It's not my fault. It's not anybody else's fault. You have to convince us now.
Well, that's easier. That's easy to do when you're not going up against the guys such as Lankford, who's going to get millions of dollars from Big Pharma. And he's going to get 90% of his donations from out of state. So, I mean, it's easy to convey your message when you're well funded. I agree, and it's easy to have a nice fair primary when you're not going up against someone splitting the vote, such as Dom.
Lankford or Jackson raised over $400,000. That's not bad for an upstart.
No, it's not. Yeah, he hadn't even put his name on the ballot yet.
I got a question for both of you guys. To what degree do you believe that any senator will be accountable by any state legislature when all they're doing is running a popularity contest? That is literally why Lankford could flip and flop and flip and flop. There is no accountability to the individual Lankford when he can tell you one thing for months and months and months, stand there on January 6th, and there's a big loud noise, and change his mind.
Well, it's been a popularity contest for a long time.
This is like the guy you're married to. Do it again, baby. So, I mean, how many times, Soto, are you going to believe a guy who runs a popularity contest for his own benefit, whether it be Lankford, Lawmeyer, or Dom, and expect them to somehow be held accountable to any state legislature or any, what do you call it, a platform?
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's the whole point of the primary system. It's our opportunity to face Lankford. You could speak with Lankford face to face. It's our job to coalesce around us strong voices, conservative voices. Again, you have to separate the party from the values. The party is what it is. And if you can't convince the majority to vote for your guy in the primary, then it's your fault. You can't blame anybody else. We've got social media, we've got events. In fact, I'm actually very impressed with Jackson and how much buzz and activity he's generated. He's actually doing a very good job. I just won't vote for him because there's too many unknowns about him. And what I do know, I don't like.
Well, you called him a charlatan to start. How do you back that up?
The dude's only voted. I have a public voting record here. He's only voted twice in our party since he started voting. Come on,
inactive. Does that make him a charlatan?
What makes him a Republican? If you don't get involved on the local level, you don't even take the time to vote. How hard is that? Come on.
Well, not getting involved. Okay, Reddick. I'm already arguing. Go ahead.
I would argue that Jackson was the most involved pastor in all of Tulsa politically over the past year and a half. So, and before that, I mean, if you know Kevin Hearn, he would guarantee you that Jackson is probably the most active conservative pastor in the entire state of Oklahoma. There are also numerous conservative organizations that depend on Jackson Lawmeyer and his ability to coordinate and organize volunteers for their missions and their movements all the time. So as far as the track record goes, I agree. It probably doesn't show up on a ballot, but my track record as a conservative at the age of 18 was I'd only voted once. And by the time I was able to vote again, I was 22. Jackson's young. He's an old soul, but he's young. He's very mature, very wise for his age. And that's why so many people love the guy, especially true proven conservatives, leaders of the Christian faith across the entire state. He's very dependable, and the track record off the ballot is there. I guarantee you that.
Has he written anything? Are you familiar with his book, Spirit Empowered Creation Care? I know he wrote it quickly. He believed, at least you can still buy it. He wrote it it was published in 2019. He supports global warming. I haven't read it yet. I have it in front of me. I just got it tonight. So I'm digging and I'm researching. And he sounds like a progressive, according to this book.
Oh, that's literally the worst word you could use, too. Yeah. So progressives by nature are covenant breakers. Reddick.
Let's not confuse it. It's a modern movement inside the Conservative Party. Well, it's a new modern way of thinking that we do accept that the planet is getting warmer and that there are climate changes. What we have it's a fact that they're not man-made. So that's the actual climate change. I've spoken with Jackson on this issue before, and he is not in the sense of the word a climate change believer. He's not a global warming believer like you would find, on the progressive side. But we do believe that there is change in climate. It's obvious.
All right. That's okay. That's the end of the first round. What is a rhino? We're going to take a break. We're going to stop your video. We are going to stop your video. We are going to mute. We're going to take just a short break here. for our sponsor, the Armbar. We'll be right back in about a minute and a half.
Adjust your cup and get ready to rumble. There's a new place to party and catch all the greatest UFC fights. It's the Armbar, located at 51st and Peoria. Submit to the Armbar, a full-scale assault on your senses with 6,700 big-screen TVs streaming nothing but UFC fights and videos of people getting their head kicked. You've got to beat your way in with elbows flying just to get a seat. And if you can survive drinking, it means you're one tough bastard. Make it inside the Armbar at 51st and Peoria. You'll be amazed at the technology. While you're mesmerized, the waitress may give you a roundhouse kick to the throat and you'll find yourself stumbling against the octagon. It's like slam dancing meets a full-service restaurant, bar, and grill. With shots so cheap, we'll give you up to full 60 seconds to recover after a blow so low. Step into our GIP'd room where you'll see videos that'll guarantee you to get wet. Whether you're looking to party or just work out, the Armbar is the place for you. So by the time you leave, you'll realize your face has been messed up, and your wife won't be mad at you for being out drinking with the boys. She'll feel sorry for you, ass kicked. They used to say no pain, no gain, no ground, pound. This ain't your grandma's hookah bar. Submit to the Armbar, 51st and Peoria. Adjust your cup and get ready to rumble. There's a new place to party and catch all the greatest UFC fights. It's the
American Constitutional Republic. Affairs of State in Oklahoma. The beliefs, principles, opinions, and views of people just like me. This is 3D Politics. Featuring the Verbal Viking right here, perspicuous plunder of conversation. Here we are again. Every Monday night, 3D Politics, and of course, the main event this evening is the virtual street fight pilot between Ken, the Red Railer Reddick, and Al, the Contrarian Soto. Ken Reddick out of Tulsa Company, TulsaFenceandRoofing.com, and Albert Soto, owner, operator of the Drip Culinary Coffee Bar, Breakfast, and Brunch Restaurant in Claremore, 900 East Will Rogers Boulevard. Let's bring both our contestants back in. Let's ask them to start their videos. Ask them to bring themselves right back in. There's Al Soto, the Contrarian. There is Ken, the Red Railer. Here we go. I appreciate you guys being here for another exciting episode and filling out this pilot episode. I never knew it would be this good. We've got the experts here tonight. And here we go with round two. How do we pick a Republican candidate? We've talked about what a rhino is, and we want to know, how do we pick a Republican candidate inside the primary? How do we know what they're going to do? Who wants to take the first swing? It can overlap.
I can go.
Batters are feeling each other out. Hit it.
So, like I've been saying from the beginning, that's the whole point of the Republican primary, is to weed out the false guys, to weed out the rhinos, to pick the most conservative candidate. Okay. Jackson's record is waffle thin. Okay, wheat cracker thin. There's no substance other than his words, and we have Nathan Dahm, who has got a proven conservative track record. He has to earn the right as well to carry the torch. And then we have our current Senator Lankford. And yes, so far the only thing I keep hearing against him is the January 6th thing. If you want to get into that, fine, we can. But that's the whole point of the primary. Let the people choose. The Republican Party is a private party. We pick our candidate. And if you sign up to run within our party and you don't have the balls to support the primary winner, you should not be part of the party. That's a rhino.
Okay, Reddick.
What do I look for in a candidate to support? I look for fortitude. I look for energy. I look for experience, real world experience. I look for someone who is willing to get dirty, willing to get in the mud, because it's going to be thrown at you, so you can't shy away from it. I do look for a track record, but I look for a real world track record. You can't just find the false one that allows you to check a box or what is your voting record. You know, that's easily falsified. So I look for a real world track record. What do you openly state? What is your open opinion? And what are you willing to stand on a soapbox, you know, while all the arrows are being thrown at you? And what are you willing to stand up for? And Jackson's my guy. I mean, he's willing to take the shots. He's willing to get in the ring. He's willing to, you know, fight and dedicate everything. As far as I know, it's the only thing he's doing right now is challenging Lankford. So he's probably exactly what I look for in a candidate.
Soto.
Yeah, so, and I told Ken months ago, and I told Jackson that I would not only support him if he wins the primary, I would even donate money. Ken and I have a bet,
Yep.
$100 bet.
$100.
And if my guy wins, he's going to donate to my guy. Now I'm asking for Ken to go even beyond that and do the right thing and vote for the Republican nominee. Don't just give him money, which, you know, that's going to be a butt hurt right there, but also vote for the nominee in our party, like it or not. The guy who wins needs to be supported by you and I.
So, go ahead, Ken.
I mean, I agreed to the $100 bet. Donating is one thing. I mean, if he's already the candidate, my $100 isn't gonna, you know, buy an ad on KRMG. So, you know, but vote for the guy. I mean, he's spineless, and as long as we keep supporting candidates like this, they're going to keep popping up and asking for our vote.
So
that's why we fight now. The primary is about fighting for a guy. Make the most positive, conservative message that you can make to bring your guy across the finish line. And if you fail, you fail.
Okay, so we're not questioning the primary here. What we're questioning is an issue, I think, of timing. That is, somebody was already covering the Lankford issue. Dom came in with suspect timing, even if it's okay to run the primary. And even if Dom doesn't have nefarious attitudes and he's 100% proper in all his thought processes, he's got some crappy timing if you're trying to help the party.
I would agree.
That's the whole point of the primary. You want guys like
let me ask you this.
running.
Why wouldn't you ask Dom to support Lawmeyer in the same way you ask Ken to support your candidate?
That's the whole point of a primary. We should have as many guys who want to run, who are qualified to run, as possible, because that allows them to debate, to challenge each other, and to let the best, the gold, you know, to rise to the top. That's what we want. That's what the people want. We want to hear these debates. We want to hear them discussing issues that are important to us. When you have strong candidates, it forces the incumbent to respond.
Liking our primary process isn't the issue here. The issue here is the fashion in which one of the candidates entered the primary. That's what's up for debate. Not do we prefer, or are we going to participate, or what kind of primary process do you enjoy? That's not the issue. I really like our closed primary system here in Oklahoma. I think it's one of the best, and I do like it when we have, you know, I was one of 8 candidates in an election. I like it because I think it encourages the more the merrier. I think it encourages debate. A lot of times guys enter a race because of one issue, and if there's 2 guys in a race, odds are you're going to have 2 issues on the table at every debate. You know, and one's going to be more appealing than the other, and that's not fair. But, you know, our issue that we're taking up, and a lot of Jackson Lawmeyer supporters, even people that I've seen it on a lot of posts, even people that aren't openly supporting Lawmeyer disagree with how Dom entered the race. It's suspect at very least, And I mean, it's suspect, and at the very least, it's very poor timing. To say that you could not back Lawmeyer and then deliver a stump speech that is verbatim every speech that Lawmeyer's given, and your bullet points literally look like they were taken from his website. I mean, it's even more suspect, and it turned a lot of people off. He's getting a lot of negative out of it. As much positive as the man's getting, it's negative. So it's a wash. So when I say he's hurting the primary process, I mean, he's actually coming in and making it look like a candidate such as himself didn't already exist. So that's my major issue. When that candidate already did exist.
So I don't get why people had heard about the timing. There is a deadline to file to run. So again, those are the rules that the party puts forward. And at the end of the day, money talks. If Nathan's going to be more popular, I got information that he raised $58,000 in 2 days. That's the people speaking with their money. So,
So do you believe, let me ask you this, so do you think money is above message, or is the message more important than money? It seems to me like you're going to go with whoever's got the most money?
To win a Senate race, you've got to have a lot of money.
I didn't ask you that. What I'm saying is, because really what we're talking about here is the personal nature of the internal soul of the Republican voter. Mm-hmm. If Lankford cross-dresses and does things that are so totally out of line with what he said he was going to do, he breaks all covenants with everyone that he ever had. Am I supposed to vote for him just because he carries around a sign that says I'm a Republican? Do I just fall for the sign?
That's the point of the primary. You get to voice your opinion with
you keep going back to the primary. I don't want to argue, but I'm saying I'm trying to ferret out my own business here for the show. I don't give a damn about the primary. I'm asking you, Al, if the devil is a Republican, will you vote for him because he's got a Republican name?
We don't have any devils running in.
You're not answering the question. What I'm saying is, if a man drops so low on the ethics scale that he becomes scum and unworthy of human consumption, you'll still vote for him because he's got a Republican?
Let's deal with reality.
You call Lawmeyer a charlatan. I'm playing the same game you are. I'm asking you, is there no level where you can walk away from the debauchery as long as it's got the money and the Republican R behind it? Is that how you go?
My whole point about money, I run a business, okay?
You're not going to answer my question.
I'm answering the question.
Barely.
You want to let me speak?
Barely. Go for it.
It's your show, buddy.
I'm asking you. Go for it.
Money talks. Money is a way of voting. When candidates can raise, Nathan Dahm raised $58,000 in 2 days. What does that tell you? That the people are excited for him. Jackson raised $400,000. I don't know how long it took him. That's a way for people to vote as well. So there's two ways for us to vote. You got poll numbers. You got election day. Election day is the final poll, and money is another way of the people indicating who they like. That's all I meant by that.
But you're not going to answer my personal question about your internal thought processes, right? I'm asking you if the devil.
I've never voted for the devil. I won't vote for the devil.
What if he had a Republican? What if he was a Republican?
Last I checked,
if you're voting for Lankford, you're voting for the devil with an R behind his name. All right, Reddick, tell us what the problem is here with the GOP, and can you find nothing wrong with another preacher getting into a politician's race? I could make the same case about Lawmeyer jumping in on the race when he did against Lankford, the same way I'm pressing Soto about Dom jumping in against Lawmeyer. So, I mean, how do we know?
Well, I mean, you say preacher. It's true. Lawmeyer is the head pastor of Sheridan Church, took over one of the most legendary churches in all of Tulsa, Sheridan Christian Center. You know, it's seated Rhema, Victory, and, you know, so many others. so many other missions worldwide. But I wouldn't really call the man just a pastor in the same sense that now we have two pastors on the ballot. The man is a natural born genius when it comes to business. He doesn't take a salary from Sheridan Church. I mean, he does everything on the side. He's an investment. He runs an investment company. When he was 16 years old, he owned his own company. So, I mean, the man is a businessman. He's got a great business mind, and we need more of those people, you know, in Washington representing Oklahoma values. So he brings a lot to the table. So as far as that goes, I mean, that's all I disagree with, you know, saying that there's now, you know, just another pastor on the ballot. But I think it's really making sense, you know, how Soto gets into all these arguments with conservatives on Facebook now. I mean, you're from California, is that correct?
Transplanted from California. Yep.
You're listening to 3D Politics with Soto versus.
And I'm also Hispanic, Mexican, an American of Mexican descent. So you could use that against me too.
Yeah, it's half my in-laws. That being said, I can understand why you have such a watered down, you know, opinion of a primary process and who a Republican is and who the actual rhinos are. I mean, coming from California, you got to take what you can get. If a Republican can raise the money and he can win, which is what it sounds like is most important to you, I mean, by God, get behind the guy. I mean, if he's got funding and he can challenge that Democrat, we got to get behind the guy. But you're really close to the source of conservatism now. You know, it's here in Oklahoma. You know, it's the reddest state in the union. You know, every county goes red when we vote in a national, you know, election. I mean, it's kind of like expecting to find boxed wine in Italy. You're really close to the source now here. So our standards are a lot higher. So when we when you say that we only come up with two issues, you know, against Lankford, and that's what makes him a rhino, it's a lot more than that. He's had multiple opportunities to stand up to the left, and he has folded every time. And what makes a good Republican right now is a spine and fortitude and the ability to stand up in the current and withstand what is guaranteed to come against you. That being said, I mean, that's why we needed one solid candidate to all get behind this time. And like you say, you hold your nose and you go vote along the party lines, and a primary is the proving grounds. We wanted to actually steamroll that process. I agree this time. So that's why a lot of people are having issue with more than one identical candidate getting in the race. We don't know why Dom would do it so late. And you know, I know you say it's all based on a calendar. That's not what we're saying. We're saying late compared to the fact that Lawmire's already raised $500,000 as a no name coming out of nowhere. He's already raised $500,000. He's got endorsements from General Flynn. He's got endorsements and support from the entire Trump family name. So that being said, I mean, we already have our conservative Trump fighting candidate, and to step in and
all right, Reddick, I appreciate it. No, I ganged up on Soto there a minute ago to get him the last this move to the final round.
So yes, I transplanted from California, from Bakersfield, California, which is very red. Guess who's from Bakersfield, California? The minority leader, very conservative, Kevin McCarthy. You know, newsflash, Ronald Reagan was from California.
That's a different California.
Orange County, which is very red. There's at least 40% of the state that's still Republican, and that's why we're moving a little at a time, because I saw Oklahoma as being not red, but more liberty-minded, because I homeschool. I have 7 kids. My eldest is a police officer, and I wanted the freedom to raise my kids the way I chose to raise them, in Christian conservative values. So why am I'm supporting Nathan Dom as of this point. Why? Because he is the true conservative in the primary. He is liberty-minded, and he fits my values tighter than any of the other two. But if he loses, as I'm convinced Jackson will lose, I will support the winner of the party.
Okay, I appreciate you finishing off that round 2, which was how do we pick a Republican candidate? I've got a couple of questions before we move on. Would you say, in general, that Ken Reddick is more conservative than Al Soto? Would you guys agree on that? I'm asking both you guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Accurate?
I would totally disagree with it because I've asked for him to define what a rhino is in the past. I've asked for him to define what conservative values are, and Jackson can't do it either.
I'm asking you, Al, define, you claim you are a conservative. What are you conserving?
My philosophy is going to the founding documents, the Federalist Papers, liberty, enlightenment, limited government, going back to our constitutional roots of a smaller, unobtrusive government. Obviously, we've blown that out of proportion. So my philosophy is first principles. Liberty.
Define first.
Rights.
Okay, so again, these are all generalities. You're not being any more specific than Lawmeyer is perhaps on global warming. What I was trying to drive at was a general consensus, not to put either of you in a box, but considering the differences in your positions, Soto and Reddick, would you agree with me, gentlemen, that the entrance of the race of Nathan Dahm has brought supporters to Nathan Dahm who are more like Soto and driven supporters away from Dahm who are more like Reddick? Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I don't know at this point. He just entered, so it's still kind of new. We'll wait and see.
Flash in the pan.
Okay. Well, that's I had another question, but I forgot what it was. So, what is the future of the Republican Party round 3? And here we go. How do we get to the future, boys, and how are you going to do it?
Stop electing old dudes who don't understand basic conservative values. The party is not the party of Trump. The party is the party of conservative values, liberty, personal rights, property, individual rights. We should get away from this idea that we have to bring Trump back for round 2. The guy lost an election. It's time to move on to the younger generation people, at least closer to my age, closer to Ken's age. We've got a great set
No
of
reason
guys
to insult
out there.
the old guy. God dang. I can hear you, right? I can hear you. You know that, right?
I'm 51. I'm not that young anymore. But, we've got good guys coming up, and there's no need for the party to
I'm just trying to remain pertinent.
to get tunnel vision around the Trump. And that's what I see so often on social media is if you got anybody disagreeing with Trump, then all of a sudden you're a rhino. And that's why you guys both of you tonight have nailed Lankford for his flip-flop on January 6th, because it's all about Trump. And we need to move beyond that. Yes, in Oklahoma, it's all about Trump. I get it. But as a senator, you also need to get independents and some Democrats to vote for you. So we can't.
Listen, let's just clarify real quickly. You have mischaracterized my disagreement with Lankford. It has literally zero to do with Trump. What it has to do with a man who told me he was going to do something and lied straight through his progressive, bridle-ridden mouth. Okay? The man lies. He's a liar. And I have him on record lying. So maybe Lawmeyer said some stuff, but he's only twice, and he stood behind his word. See, you mischaracterized me. I don't give a damn about Trump. What I know is Lankford is a progressive liar. He will flip-flop to get whatever he wants, okay? Mm-hmm. He will bend over and twist to take it or give it to get whatever he wants, okay? So clear that up. So this has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with Republic. So when I conserve, I'm a conservative, but I conserve more specifically than anybody that I know. And that is I conserve the Declaration of Independence, I conserve the Constitution, and I conserve the Bill of Rights. Now, it has been mentioned generally, liberty, individual rights. I'm saying specifically the Bill of Rights, specifically the Constitution, and specifically the Declaration. So I don't just conserve generally. And this is one of the problems with the GOP is we can't seem to quite focus the message on whatever the hell we're going to bring because we're so busy with so many chefs in the pot. We're really, no matter who gets elected senator, the 17th Amendment says it's just a party for them anyway. So who gives a damn who it is? Might as well be Lawmeyer. At least he believes in God.
Well, Lankford believes in God too. And so does Nathan.
Which God?
What are you talking about? Which God? The God
I don't know which God Lankford believes in.
Well, I can't read hearts and minds. Maybe you have that gift. I don't. But taking him at his word.
I don't. I said I don't know. All right, well, I take Lankford at his word, and I take Dom at his word. Either Dom or Lankford would be fine. The problem with the party is they cannot bring these chefs together. Where is Lankford? Where is Lawmeyer or Dom coming together in some sort of beer summit?
Beer summit? I can join that. I like whiskey, but I can do beer.
We should have it out. Hey, by the way, Al Soto runs a fine business out there in Claremore, 900 East Will Rogers Boulevard out there in Claremore. It's a little breakfast and brunch coffee bar.
Good looking place.
So, we want to come out there and do some business out there as well. Ken Reddick running Tulsa Fence and Roofing. So I appreciate you guys coming. But again, I'm despondent about the whole senator race, knowing that it's a debacle thanks to the 17th Amendment. Where do you stand on the 17th Amendment, either one of you guys?
I liked it better when, before the 17th Amendment, when we were, picking our senators
appointed by the
level.
legislature.
Yeah, appointed by the
and you could be removed. You were supposed to.
Yeah, it was just another thing to help hold them accountable. It wasn't a popular vote.
Picking on everybody
like it is today.
Soto, what do you know? I swear I'll let you talk. 17th Amendment. It allows the senators to run a popular vote instead of being appointed by the state legislature. That way, so the senators not beholden to any legislature. It's just a popular vote. So the senator
which completely defeats the purpose of having senators.
Originally, the senator is supposed to represent Oklahoma to the feds, but not anymore. Senator Lankford represents himself to the feds when he wants and to the people of Oklahoma when he wants, and he burns both ends of the candles like every other senator does. The 17th Amendment has brought us some of the worst presidents we know so far. All right, let's let Al Soto speak because clearly I'm bent on the side of the Reddick.
I don't know about your beef with the 17th Amendment. I was ready to talk about the future of the Republican Party.
All right, let's do it. That's my fault. And I think the problem with the future of the Republican Party is the 17th Amendment. All right, the future of the Republican Party, Al, the contrarian, Soto.
I always say play chess, not checkers. I deal with the rules that we got. I have no problem with Nathan coming in. I think it's better for the party that people like him join the race. We should have more. We shouldn't just have two guys. 3, 4, 5, bring as many as you want. That is the purpose of the primary. The future of the Republican Party. Now, statewide, yes, we're a very red state, but at one time it was very Democratic. And so we have a lot of rhinos. We have, Hoffmeister? I am so disappointed in people like her who switched parties. And I've seen that in the local on the local level. We've had people who are former Democrats change into Republicans just to win an election. We've got too much of that going on. And so the people need to be educated about the Constitution, about the Bill of Rights, about the Declaration. I was a history major, so that was my specialty. So when I mention personal liberty, and that's what I meant, the Bill of Rights. Yes, we have. That's why I want candidates like Nathan who can talk about those issues. He made nationwide news when he went on a Piers Morgan show and debated Piers Morgan about an amendment. So the dude has earned his propers. This is the guy we should stand behind.
He's been on national news before too. Rachel Maddow, is ready to attack him again. He's got a track record of pretty colorful statements as well. So if he wins the primary, be ready for an easily picked on candidate. I mean, they're just going to drudge it all up again. He's already made national news as a state senator. Imagine that, from the little old flyover state of Oklahoma. So if you think Rachel Maddow and the left aren't ready to throw $10 million at the Democratic candidate and drudge up all the, you call us a purple state, or you say, we have, moderate, voters. I mean, he's gonna make it real easy to flip this state.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I've spoken with you. I've spoken with Jackson. You actually sound more conservative than Jackson does. Jackson is a paper tiger.
Jackson's my mentor.
He doesn't know very much about our principles. He's a baby when it comes to the Republican Party and conservative values. He's not ready for prime time. He hasn't run for anything. Dog catcher, city council, mayor, nothing. That he needs to go back and start over, win some elections, earn your keep.
Earn his keep. You can finish. Hey, that's some good argument coming from Al Soto, the contrarian. There's no flies on Nathan Dom. Unfortunately, the announcer got a little bit involved with the fun, but that's why I'm here. And so, Al, I appreciate you letting me you a little bit. I think you got some really good points. There's no flies on Nathan Dom, and no. In my opinion, on Lawmeyer, all the flies are on Lankford, and hopefully we can take up these issues of how can I claim to be a Republican if Lankford is the choice I have, but I sit it out. Am I a rhino? We'll get to that next time, guys. Al Soto, thank you very much for being here. I hope to have you on again. And we're all going to come see you out at your place in Claremore. Thank you once again. Ken Reddick, we'll see you again with Tulsa Roofing, Fence and Roofing, and also Thank you guys both for being here. We'll see you guys next week.
And Tommy, you are on the air.
James Lankford, the Lank, the Lankster, Lanky, Mr. Lang,
And Tommy, you are on the air.
You don't have to call me Johnson. James Lankford, the Lank.